On the eve of the Revolution, Connecticut's population is only 200,000. The majority, farmers and staunch Congregationalists, dedicated to keeping their self-government, which they have enjoyed under a royal charter for 100 years. Opposition to British rule, benevolent but misguided, surfaces after the French and Indian War. The protest is strongest in eastern Connecticut, where the radical Sons of Liberty organized to demonstrate against the Stamp Act. But the majority of colonists, dreading hostilities with the mother country, remain loyal to King George. However, when Governor Fitch of Norwalk says he will enforce the Stamp Act, the Sons of Liberty take over the government. In the election of 1766, they replaced Fitch with William Pitkin of Hartford. This is the decisive event leading to Connecticut's role in the Revolution, for Pitkin and his successor, Jonathan Trumbull of Lebanon, are men passionately committed to the defense of the colony's liberties. Feelings begin to run high against those with pro-English views. Tories, mostly Anglican and centered in western Connecticut, are looked upon as traitors. Connecticut patriots prepare for war. The militia is reorganized into a more efficient force of 18,000. Governor Trumbull, however, pleads for a peaceful solution, asserting British supremacy and American liberty are not incompatible with each other. Finally, at Lexington and Concord are fired the shots heard round the world. In Pomfret, Israel Putnam receives the shocking news first. Leading his plow like Cincinnatus of old, he hurries off to join the American force organizing at Cambridge. Behind him quickly follow other Sons of Liberty and town militiamen, 3,600 strong. Before independence is achieved, 1 in 4 of Connecticut's sons will take up arms against Britain. 5,000 will give their lives. Many of the colony's 5,000 blacks will also valiantly join the fray, while some 1,300 Indians, destitute and diseased, hope the outcome will improve their lot. In New Haven, a young, daring-do druggist launches his stormy military career. Benedict Arnold will become one of America's finest battlefield generals, and, tragically, its most notorious traitor. As captain of the newly formed 2nd Company of the Governor's Foot Guard, he marches his men to Cambridge. Thirsting for more adventure, Arnold helps to execute a plan for assaulting Fort Ticonderoga at the head of Lake Champlain. Reluctantly, he shares command with Ethan Allen, a brawny native of Litchfield County, and now the leader of the Green Mountain Boys of New Connecticut. The Americans capture the fort by surprise. The capture provides the Patriots with desperately needed cannon, which are dragged by oxen to Boston to drive the British out. Breed's Hill, Charlestown. Colonel Putnam in command of the Connecticut troops, assisted by Captain Thomas Knowlton, a tall Ashford farmer. Old Putt cries, "Men, you are all marksmen. Don't one of you fire until you see the white of their eyes." His 2,000 men protect the Patriot retreat from Bunker Hill, saving that fateful day for the spirited defenders. The governor's talented son, John Trumbull, later painted this battle, as he did many others of the Revolution and its leaders. En route to Boston, to take over command of the struggling American army. General Washington stops in Wethersfield and rests at the elegant home of Silas Deane, a prominent merchant. In a futile quest for fresh meat, the British man-of-war HMS Rose bombards Stonington. Connecticut is among the first to instruct her delegates to Congress to declare the United American colonies free and independent states absolved from all allegiance to the King of Great Britain. 4 men from Connecticut signed the Declaration of Independence. Judge Samuel Huntington, William Williams, Oliver Wolcott of Litchfield, Roger Sherman of New Haven. On his return from Philadelphia, Oliver Wolcott watches New Yorkers pull down the statue of George III in celebration of the signing. He transports the statue home, where his family and friends convert it into 42,000 lead balls in order to fire melted majesty at the Redcoats. Nathan Hale has a lot to live for. A graduate of Yale, a fine athlete, a promising school teacher in East Haddam. In his 20th year, he joins the American Army and later volunteers to spy on the British movements on Long Island. He is captured while returning to his lines and ordered to be hanged by a British military court. Calm to the end, Hale has the last word. I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country. Connecticut's war effort is directed by Governor Trumbull with the aid of a 9-man Council of Safety appointed by the General Assembly. The council meets nearly 1,200 times in the tiny war office in Lebanon and elsewhere. From these meetings emerge the orders and pleas which make possible the state's magnificent contributions to the American cause. Gunsmiths are urged to double their production. Cannon from the Salisbury furnaces arm New England forts and ships. Shipbuilders are encouraged. At Essex, the first American warship, the Oliver Cromwell, is launched. In Saybrook, the young inventor David Bushnell trains his brother to man the strange underwater craft he has put together to attack British warships in New York Harbor. His bold plan fails, but Bushnell earns a place in history as the father of the American submarine. Privateering brings nearly 500 prizes into local ports, their proceeds helping to finance war. as well as enriching the bold captains and seamen. Yet Connecticut's most significant help is her unparalleled effort in provisioning Washington's troops. During the cruel winter of 77 and 78, when Washington's troops faced starvation, Governor Trumbull and the council round up herd after herd of cattle to send to Valley Forge, enabling Washington to say, "You, Governor Trumbull, and the colony of Connecticut have never failed us." 3 major attacks within Connecticut failed to interrupt the flow of guns, supplies, and soldiers. General William Tryon lands at Cedar Point with 2,000 men and sets out to destroy the military stores at Danbury. The raid is repulsed by militiamen under General David Wooster. At the Battle of Ridgefield, during the British retreat, Wooster falls, mortally wounded. With his ragtag forces, old General Putnam, in command of the right wing of the Continental Army, encamps at Reading, halfway between the Hudson River and Long Island Sound. This is Connecticut's Valley Forge. The regiment comes close to starving, and mutiny is barely averted. In his last battle, Putnam is almost captured in Greenwich, while in July, Tryon returns by sea for more attacks, plundering New Haven, burning Fairfield and most of Norwalk to the ground. The final British thrust into Connecticut involves the turncoat Benedict Arnold, who makes a deal with the British to turn over the fortress at West Point. His treachery is discovered at the last moment. Major Benjamin Talmadge of Litchfield plays a key role in unraveling the sinister plot. One of Washington's keenest agents, he helps to intercept the youthful spy, Major John Andre, after his secret meeting with Arnold. Andre is hanged. West Point is saved. But Arnold escapes to become a British general. He is ordered to attack New London with the double objective of diverting the Patriots from New York and crippling our pesky privateering. Half of his force disembarks at Groton Point. From Fort Griswold, Sergeant Lucas Avery sights the enemy and gives the alarm. Colonel William Ledyard commands the fort.
Horse, horse! Man your boat!
Tell the rebels if they don't surrender, those that we do not kill with balls shall be put to death with sword and bayonet. Carry on, sir.
We will not surrender, let the consequences be what they may.
Colonel Ledyard orders his men to lay down their arms. The British, however, enraged at losing nearly 200 redcoats, kill the brave commander, plunder the dead, and slaughter the wounded. The brutal episode ends with the burning of Groton and New London. But the Americans are not to be denied victory. France has signed a treaty of alliance and landed several thousand regulars at Newport. Their leader, Comte de Rochambeau, meets Washington for the first time in Hartford. Without more men, money, and ships, they agree nothing effective can be risked. Again, General Washington rides over from West Point to confer with the French commanders. He lodges at Joseph Webb's house in Wethersfield. Had a good deal of private conversation with Governor Trumbull, who gave it to me as his opinion that if any important offensive operation should be undertaken, he had little doubt of our obtaining men and provisions adequate to our wants. Soon, Comte de Rochambeau and the Marquis de Chastellux arrived, and in this room is born the plan of the campaign that indirectly leads to the final victory at Yorktown. On October 19th, General Cornwallis surrenders. Now, Governor Trumbull decides to lay down the burden of public office. This wise old patriot, who has served Connecticut for half a century. 14 years I have had the honor to fill the chief seat of government. The watchful care and solicitude of an 8 years distressing and unusual war have also fallen to my share, and have employed many anxious moments of my latest time. I would entreat my countrymen that for the purpose of national happiness and glory, they will support and strengthen the Federal Union by every constitutional means. Finally, my fellow citizens, I exhort you to love one another. Let each study the good of his neighbor and of the community as his own. I am, gentlemen, your most obedient and humble servant. During these steaming days, the Constitution for the new nation is forged in Philadelphia. Roger Sherman plays a decisive role in determining the crucial compromise between the large and small states over the question of representation in Congress. At home, Oliver Ellsworth pens a series of vigorous articles, and Connecticut becomes the 5th state to ratify the Constitution. President Washington makes a triumphal tour of New England. Crossing Connecticut, he records his impressions in his diary. The superb landscape to be seen is a rich regalia. We found all the farmers busily employed in gathering, grinding, and expressing the juice from their apples. October 21st finds him in Windsor. On his return journey, he enters the state at the northeast corner. Baited the horses in Pomfret at Colonel Grosvenor's tavern. Set out about 7 o'clock. And for the first 24 miles had hilly, and disagreeable roads to Hartford. But from the hills and rocks of this tiny state rose a proud, resourceful society whose patriots, soldiers, and martyrs secured for all who followed in their footsteps the liberties and rights of Americans.